Hi guys, Paul from Road to VR here. I'm going to take a quick look at Assetto Corsa, which is an in-development sim racing game, which has been in development for a little while now. It's currently reached version 0.3. It's available on Steam as an early access beta, so you're kind of funding the progress of the game as it progresses. It's had Oculus Rift support for a little while now. Since the beginning. It was promised right from the beginning of the development start, and but as of 0.3 it's actually usable. The previous version had a problem with Z buffering issues in the right eye, so that this racing line you can see here, this green racing line, was actually appearing through cars. That's still an issue with certain cars now, but it's largely fixed. So as you can see, and as we're spinning around this Lotus Elise as we are now, the 3D effect is brilliant. So this is running at 1080p. It looks brilliant. It almost as though you can reach out and touch the car right in front of you. Detail levels are good. There's no aliasing. Overall, the solidity of the effect is extremely good. One of the problems we've got at the moment with the current Oculus Rift support is that UI is not great. You can't see the UI when you're actually in the Rift, so I'm going to have to take the Rift off to actually start the game, which is still controlled by the mouse, unfortunately. So just bear with me. Okay, so let's get going. So before I start, just for any of you sim racers out there, I am not a sim racing fan. My idea of a good technical drive is taking the Ridge Racer cars around the track and power sliding my way through various obstacles. So I am not a sim racer. In fact, I'm playing on a gamepad, which I know is a cardinal sin for most of you, for a lot of you out there. So bear with me. I'm purely playing this to give people an idea of what the Rift support is like. You guys can give me some feedback on whether or not you think the driving support is actually any good. I wouldn't know. So let's give it a start. Here we go. Okay, so I'm starting this behind the camera, this kind of arcadey mode that most of you are familiar with from console races, and it's cool. It's extremely usable. So you feel like you're sort of stuck on this invisible arm that's attached to the back of the car, and as you go around. But the difference is that ordinarily your view would be locked unless you're using the camera controls. You can just sort of casually glance left and right. I see this rather nice scenery that's going past. A lot of trees anyway. It's kind of like a realistic looking version of Gran Turismo. Anyone who's played the PlayStation classics, the racing line gives it that definite feel, but the 3D effect is brilliant. I mean, the solidity of the surroundings, and that felt like it was going to flap straight into my forehead. And because you have this good feeling of depth, you're able to judge your approach to corners much better. And this is something that I've heard friends of mine who've played sim races, like iRacing on the Rift, is that although the resolution is much lower than they would like, you can still you have a good feeling for your position in the world because of the spatial awareness you get from the 3D effect. And it's great. There are no glitches. It is just working. Like I said, the Z buffering issue that was on the previous version, 0.2, has now pretty much disappeared, completely gone. And you're just left with this relaxing view of this sunny afternoon on the racetrack. So I'm going to hop into the bonnet cam. And this is the second bonnet cam, which is sat midway just beyond the windscreen. Actually, this is kind of disconcerting because it feels like your head is just sticking out the windscreen, which is kind of weird. There's another one. Now this is brilliant. So you're right on the edge, like as you can see, on the edge of the bonnet, and it feels like you're sellotaped to the edge of the car, flying down this track, almost as if you had an engine attached to your backside, and you were just roaring down the track. I like this a lot. This is something I got frustrated with iRacing, was that by definition it is very specifically a realistic restricting in the views you can use, and all I wanted really was to be sort of flung out onto the roof of the car so I could look around my glorious surroundings. And this is great. So this is low to the ground, so the feeling of speed is brilliant. And you can just glance over the buildings. I almost felt like that. This is great. And the immediacy it brings to the game. I mean, when you're approaching this corner, you really do feel like you're not doing it very well. I did say I'm not a sim racer, so please don't look at me. But you have this real feeling that, you know, of peril when you're going far too quickly into a bend, and you know you need to slow down. It's a tricky thing. So that's that camera. If I jump into the cockpit, okay, so there are some problems here. Now, there's no glitches. In fact, the 3D cockpit is really brilliantly modelled, beautifully detailed. Down here you can see the pockets in the arm, in the doors, and the handles. But the world scale seems to be a little bit off. So by that I mean my arms are far too small and narrowly put together. When I look down at my legs, they're a little bit too small. So there's something not quite right here. It's still extremely usable, but yeah, like I said, the scale needs to be potentially tweaked here. So I'm just going to pop back to my behind the scene. My favourite one. There we go. And this is great. I mean, just going out. It feels like going for a very, very, very quick and expensive Sunday drive in the afternoon. And it's actually, despite the fact that we're terrassing around the track here, although not as quickly as I'm sure some of you are able to do, extremely relaxing because you're just sort of plunked into this 3D world. With the trees whistling past, the track underneath you, nothing else to worry about. Whoa! Okay, fine. My racing credentials are up there on the screen for you to see. So this is good. I mean, considering this is, like I said, 0.3, this is the version we're on right now, and it's already pretty compelling. I mean, you can. This is perfectly usable. In more than that, it's actually one of the best races I've played on the Rift, and that includes iRacing, which, as I said, I always felt was a little bit more restrictive in terms of the views, and I wanted a little bit more from it. This is probably about my level in terms of the technical requirement to drive the car, but also the feeling of being in the world on the track, and in this case strapped on the end of the car. So, if you've got a few dollars or pounds to throw at it, I'd recommend it, because this is coming on pretty quickly, and the developers already released two updates, and this is the second. And he already fixed the like I said, the major Z buffering issues. So it can only get better from here, and quite frankly, it's already pretty damn good now. So check it out.